Are you ready, Tammy? Ready, set, go?
I guess I will be since you already
Ready,
punched the
set,
button.
go. Trent. Can Frenchies have pregnancy issues? Like if they are still acting like they're not pregnant, their normal self, and have a belly full of babies and rough house and everything with their siblings? Can this lead to complications? Aborting partner or the litter? Would separating her, or would we have issues either way with something like that? Just worried about her next litter and health and safety of my girls. You have a stab at that?
No, I'll let you do it.
You let me do it? Alright. Okay, so the latter part of the pregnancy, you don't want your dog jumping off furniture. You can get a separated placenta, and that could then end up with a dead puppy inside her, which could end up with an early pregnancy and lose the litter. So there is a small chance of this. So I think the general good advice would be, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, especially if she's got a belly full of puppies, is to limit roughhousing and limit jumping up and down off things. If you do see a bit of blood, then especially if it's red blood, then that could be a placental tear, and at that situation we would put a dog into a crate for 48 hours so that it gives a chance for that little tear to then kind of scab and heal over. If you see a green stain, that's more of a concern, because that is a placental separation in that one. But here's the deal: there's not a lot you can do about this. If the damage has been done, it's like breaking your arm. You know, you can not go climbing trees after you've broken your arm, but you know, if you never climbed the tree in the first place, you may not have broken your arm. I don't know if I'm getting my point across here properly or not. So the point here is I think that active levels for dogs is great. You don't want them to become slugs. You don't want they tend to kind of slow up a little bit generally anyway. But our advice would be, when it's time to go outside and exercise, especially the latter part of the pregnancy, put a leash on, especially if there's cars around. You don't want a dog. Remember that dogs that are full of puppies can't move as well. It could get run over by a dog.
By a dog.
By a dog. A big dog. By a car. You know what I meant. By a car. But I think the point here is, just do the same things that you do as a human, basically. You know, I see people who barrel race in the last week of their pregnancy. That's crazy. I mean, that's just nuts, in my opinion. I mean, I understand that people want to, work all the way up until maybe they give birth. That's fine, but just watch out for your activity levels, because remember, you've got a few pounds extra weight hanging in there. That's you don't want to tear. All right, I think enough of that one. Someone says have a good day. Thank you. We are. Beverly Schilling. I just love Tammy's spunk. She says what she thinks. LOL.
Kind of gets me in trouble sometimes.
I know what she's thinking right now. She's thinking about slapping me.
Slapping you. You need it in the morning and at night.
I need a couple of slappings a day.
Sometimes you even need it during the daytime.
That's what my mum said. My mum was slapping me. When I was a little boy, I got slapped all the damn time.
She used to carry a brush in the car.
She did carry a brush in the car. She did carry a brush in the car. I was a little bugger.
Imagine that. I
had two sisters.
Don't believe that.
I had two sisters, and I mean, I wasn't mean. My dad said it one way well. He said I was it was just mischievous. I guess that's the right word. I was a mischievous child. I wasn't cruel or a bully, but I was mischievous. And I'm still a bit mischievous these days. I like to tease, and I'm quite happy to be teased too.
Let's just say the little bird that you shot in the back of the yard, that your mother was having a tea party and reading books on about.
I got in trouble for that one. She was actually reciting a poem about pheasants, and I shot the pheasant in the backyard. Oh,
From the balcony.
I got my butt in a sling on that one. People were not happy with me. Anyway, enough of that. How many times AI do you do after the first one? I'm not sure what you're asking here. If you're asking how many times do we AI when we're getting a single dog pregnant, or how many times do we continue to get that dog pregnant down the road? So answering the first question, I personally like to do 2 AIs 2 days apart, because it expands the window. But if you're going to do a surgical or a transcervical, then a single AI is more common. But it's all about getting the numbers right. So specifically, if you don't know what the numbers are, I like 2 AIs 2 days apart. If you do know what the numbers are, and you bred on the right numbers, you're probably good with 1. As far as how many times do you AI a dog in its life, I've got videos on that, but it's all about how the dog recovered and how you enjoyed and how the puppies were from the previous litter. If it's all thumbs up, you can breed on the next cycle. If there's any problems with that, she definitely needs a break, or maybe you're done with breeding her. Question, can I breed a merle with a merle? No, don't do it.
Do not do it.
Do not do it. Do not do it. So we've got some replies here. Let's see what people say.
Don't do it.
So Gingascope says you don't want to do that. It can cause problems with the litter, eye problems and other health issues. I believe you're right. You don't want to. You do not breed merles to merles. There's a one. You've got a 25% chance of producing double merles, and a double merle can have problems. So just the good advice on this is just don't do it. So, hi James, this is a question I've never had before. I was wondering if a stud contracted Giardia can carry that infection for an AI, or is there a risk of spreading the Giardia to the female? Well, the answer is that the Giardia is contained in the tract of the animal. It's got nothing to do with the sexual organs. So it's quite okay to breed dogs that have Giardia. Obviously, you need to treat Giardia, and then the accepted normal practice for this would be to give them metronidazole for about 8 days. So the important thing is, if you do have a dog with Giardia, you don't want to clean up the feces, and you don't want any sniffing of their butts or licking of their butts or eating of feces, because you can spread Giardia very easily. If you do an AI, you have no risk. Well, I say you have very little risk. So it's not a sexually transmitted thing. It is a feces transmitted thing. Alaska, I might ban you, Alaska. It's talking about my technique for collecting a dog. It says collecting by hand instead of by mouth. Mouth collection would feel better for the stud. Okay, whatever.
Sick person.
I love your
Sick like you.
love your info. Thanks in advance. How do you AI female with 2 males? So I'm now going to finish the rest of this video talking specifically about that, because I've had quite a few questions about that, about using multiple studs. And so let's talk a little bit about how you do it, why you do it, and what the AKC implications of this and the stud owner implications are of doing that. So first off, AKC does not, it's absolutely fine to have multiple sires for a breeding, and AKC doesn't say you can't do that. However, if you've done that, you're going to have to prove parentage. Specifically, if you're going to have multiple sires for that litter, and you need to do a parentage, and that doesn't mean that you're going to have to basically get AKC's DNA kit. And I think currently it's $50 a dog to prove, and you have to do that on all the puppies and on all of the studs to prove which stud sired which puppy. And then you have to pay for multiple registrations. So there's a small but relevant expense in doing this. So the next thing is, why would you do this? Well, one of the fundamental reasons would be is that you got some semen in, and the quality of the semen wasn't very good, but you want to use it because you really want to have puppies from that stud, but you don't want to have a 0 puppy litter. So you then go ahead and breed with that dog, which is questionable semen. And by the way, if that's the situation, I'd recommend that you do a TCI and not a vaginal. And then you then back that up by doing another breeding with another dog. And so if you're going to do that, I highly recommend that you talk to the stud owner and let them know what you're doing and get their blessing on it, because they may come back to you and say, I'm not okaying this litter at all. So you don't want to be in a, and that's
their guarantee either.
Yeah, that's their prerogative too, by the way. So that's why you don't want to tell them about this after the fact. And you tell them before, get their blessing. Now, I've been in this situation.
Don't want any surprises.
We had somebody with shifts of semen too. The semen quality wasn't as good as it should have been, and they decided that they would like to use another stud dog. And it's like, absolutely, go for it. Ended up that our dog actually ended up getting all the puppies, so it was not an issue anyway. But then the other thing about this is that you've got to decide who's paying for what. Now, if you use somebody's stud and you only get 1 puppy from them and you got 4 from somebody else, what have you got to pay them? You don't want to find that out afterwards. Have that conversation beforehand. You don't want any surprises. And then I had one the other day that somebody messaged me about, want to know when they should use the other stud. And so the question on this is, what are you trying to get done here? If you're trying to maximize litter size, or are you trying to cover your bases in the event that the first dog was no good? In both cases, you've got to do this fairly close together. I mean, if you really want, you've got questionable semen, and you really want puppies from that stud, get that done first, give it 24 hours, and then use the other stud. You got something to add to that?
Other than our new litter that's coming up June 8th.
Yeah, tell them about that.
We're going to have little fluffy carriers.
Yes, that's who is that breeding? That's
Paris, which is a chocolate fawn female that carries blue, carries cream, carries AT, and that's to
is she chocolate and tan?
Hit that again.
Is she chocolate and tan?
No, she's a blue fawn.
Oh,
You
chocolate.
weren't listening.
Chocolate fawn.
Yeah, chocolate fawn.
You weren't listening.
It's not opening.
It's not, is it?
And
Be
then
locked out of our
blue.
place. There we go.
Okay, start over again. A chocolate fawn carries blue, carries cream, carries AT, bred to Love My Buble, which is a full visual fluffy platinum AT-AT. So that's the babies that are coming June 8th.
Yep. She's a pretty dog too, isn't she? She's a pretty dog, and here's a small dog too. So there should be nice, compact, pretty little puppies.
Nice grandparents and great-grandparent background.
Good lineage. Good lineage,
yep.
Right. Is that her second
There's
litter?
going to be nice confirmation in that group too.
Is that her second litter?
No, it's her first.
Okay, so there we go. So always first time, you never quite know what you're going to get in terms of how successful you are, because younger dogs are harder to breed, get pregnant. But I think, well, we know she's pregnant. We got a pregnancy test.
Yeah, we had a pregnancy.
How do you do
test.
that? We pulled some blood at 30 days
30
after
days.
8. Yep. Did a relaxing pregnancy test, which we sell those tests. They are, I think, about 80
She'd already
bucks.
had nipple change, so.
Yes, but it was confirmed by that. So we've definitely got puppies on the way. All right, there's a good 13-12 minutes of your time taken up. As always, thanks for watching. If you've got questions, ask them. If you need supplies for your upcoming litter, go check out mybreedersupply.com. We have a great list of items that all things that we use ourselves. We've either invented them, patented them, manufactured them, or used them. We don't sell anything we don't use. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.